start off with those Raubex results. Headline earnings per share up just over 10%. Your view on the company, relatively small, but obviously gaining traction and also in a very good space.
Hey, evening, Eleni. Yeah, a small company, make no mistakes, but of those small companies, really one of the shining stars. A lot of them have had really tough time of it. We're seeing numbers come out that are markedly down on the previous period. These guys really came out, and, as your guest said a moment ago, 10% under current circumstances, not bad. And also they score, as you said, on the one side, they're supplying the asphalt, so they might lose a contract, but then they actually sell the product to the winner. So a bit of a double win from there in that regard. And really roads, I mean, we keep on focusing on 2010 and Eskom and everything else, but one thing we know that there's millions and miles or however many miles of roads out there. They constantly need upgrading, and these guys are really, really well positioned for it.
You mentioned Eskom. Jacob Moroge back at the helm. We'll be hearing news that Chairman Bobby Godsell has resigned. Your view on this, Simon, and how's the market taking all of this news? Because there's no clarity on what's actually been going on.
Yeah, look, I mean, the market largely just shrugged and said, you know, I don't think it matters who's in charge there. We've got significant electricity price increases in our future over the next couple of years. That's pretty much a given, whether it's Moroge, whether it's Bobby Godsell, whether it's whoever's out there. I think what the market would like to see is that really Eskom is a really, really strategic asset. It's had problems. It needs to be sorted out. We need to get that power going, and who runs it is less important. What we're just looking for is some level of continuity. Bobby Godsell only joined about a year and a half ago. Moroge not much before that.
Well, Simon, just taking a look at all the news that's coming through from the government side, we also heard that Jacob Zuma is now backing the green paper from Trevor Manuel. Your view on that, is that going to bode well? And also there seems to be quite a big tug of war between the left in the ANC.
Look, I think, I mean, does it bode well? I think yes. I think, is there a big tug of war? Absolutely. I think there always has probably been a tug of war. I think it's probably come into the fore more, and I think that's not a bad thing. Like, get it out there, let know which sides of which their positions are, how things are going, what the implications possibly are or aren't, depending which side wins. I'm not so convinced. I mean, the left has always been there since 1994, when we had the first elections in April. The left has been there. I'm not sure that their presence is necessarily significantly stronger now than it ever was before. People will say, oh, but look at who's in cabinet. There's always been. I mean, we tend to forget that Tito Mboweni, who had his last day yesterday, was a Labour minister. When he wrote that Labour legislation in the late 90s, everybody hated it.
Simon, the JSE all-share ended in the positive today. Of course, resources and financials, the shining stars today. What did you take from the markets today? Because we also had quite a lot of corporate news out from the financial fronts and, of course, the industrial fronts as well.
Yeah, a fair bit of results from some top companies and top in terms of size, not always in terms of results. What was strange, as you said, resources and financials really up to almost 2%. Financials just ahead. What we tend to usually see is one or the other, that bit of rotation. Sort of, you know, resources up 2%, financials flat or maybe down or up a small amount as you sell one sector and move into the other. Today seemed to be relatively broad-based, although when you drilled into it, if you look at resources, it really was Anglo-America and BHP Billiton. The gold miners, the platinum guys weren't really coming to the party, so largely driven by just those two heavyweight stocks in the index. Right,
we had FirstRand ending the day 5% stronger. What news came out of FirstRand that made the stock rally today?
I was digging around. I couldn't find anything. It seemed to have spiked right in the end there. The banks themselves were up fairly strongly. Standard Bank, Absa and Nedbank doing well, but nowhere near that plus 5% that FirstRand gave us. Something out there, but nothing that I could find or put my fingers on.
Right, we had Vodacom out with results today, and this stock ended down 0.7%, largely in line with what happened with MTN. Performing better, though. MTN down almost 2%. What did you make of Vodacom's results, Simon?
Frankly, they surprised me a bit to the upside. I mean, the two things that really caught my attention was fairly significant market growth in South Africa, which, you know, usually you see churn, you're gaining clients in the one door, but at the same time you're losing them, and you might come ahead a couple of clients here or there. They were double-digit ahead in South Africa. That's fairly significant. Someone's lost a lot. I suspect maybe MTN must be the big loser simply because they're the biggest competitor. That was really positive. The R1.10 dividend is almost a 2% odd dividend yield just at the interim stage, still those final results to come where we could say, let's say we just get the same again, puts them on a dividend yield of about 4.2, 4.3, not bad. I think going forward, however, really the growth in Vodacom is going to have to come from the mobile data, their 3G, their HSDPA and the like. And the growth was good, 50% off a small base, very competitive space. Not only the MTNs of the world, but Neotel's, iBurst, very competitive space, but going forward, that is really their key area.
Simon, it's the start of the week and we've got mining and manufacturing out in South Africa. Obviously, a lot of the pricing has been priced into the markets. But Simon, just taking a look at what you think is going to happen on the equity front this week. We had the G20, obviously, on the weekend, and a lot of the bad news we saw mostly happen last week on the economic front regarding the US. Do you think that the markets have enough momentum to gain traction from here and go into higher territory?
Short answer, yes, I do. If we drill down into the data, I mean, the manufacturing data, mining data we're going to see later this week, it's going to be ugly. I suppose the question is just how ugly. I mean, we know it's going to be, particularly in the manufacturing front, it's really not going to be nice. Quarter on quarter, maybe not so bad. When you go back to this year versus last year, minus 13% is entirely possible. Manufacturing is still under severe pressure, so not a lot happening there. What I'm really focusing on, Bank of England, they're talking about their inflation outlook going forward. That's happening on Wednesday, and that really is going to be a talk on gold and the US dollar. If they're starting to see some inflation, I have no idea if they will or won't, but if they say they're starting to see some inflation coming through, potential implications for interest rates, but more than that, really the gold story is we've got inflation down the road. We're not seeing it yet, but when we start to see it, I think we can see gold price moving even stronger. I think generally equities, the data coming out, no real surprises expected. I think equities are going to be moving higher for the week.